Very good, dear friends. So let's discuss about the other topics in the living world. So next one is regarding the classification and as well as the taxonomy. So what do you mean by classification first? Classification and the naming. So classification, okay, before understanding the meaning and the definition of that term, see, as we know that 1.7 to 1.8 millions of species of organisms are identified and discovered so far. Is it possible to study each and every organism among that 1.7 to 1.8 millions of organisms? Is it possible? No, right? So only, in order to make the study of the organisms easier, we go for categorizing or grouping them into a convenient categories. Such a process is only called as classification. So what is classification then? It is the process by which anything is grouped conveniently or conveniently grouped into categories. Such a process is only called as classification. So on what basis this classification is carried out means? So such a classification or grouping into convenient categories is based on some easily observable characters. Some easily observable characters. So if you take an example such as, so we recognize the organisms in convenient categories such as the plants, animals and insects. So here the plants, animals and insects are representing the particular group of the organisms based on observable features or the characteristics. So here plants is recognizing one group of organisms, animals is representing another group of organisms, insects are representing another group of organisms. So in order to understand more easier, let us take some of examples. See, when you think of, when you hear the word dog, which picture comes to your mind? Is the cat picture comes to your mind when you think of dog? No, right? So when you hear the word dog, only the picture or image of dog comes to your mind. But not a cat. So why it happens? Means when we think about these groups of organisms such as the plants and animals and insects, we get associated with certain characteristics of organisms in the group. Insects means ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಕ್ಕೆಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಲೆಗ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸ್ಪೈಡರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, house fly ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, mosquito. So they will be having jointed legs. Some will be having right wings to fly. So those comes under insects. And animals means, right? They will be having limbs for the locomotion or fins for the locomotion, right? And they do possess presence of eyes. They have heart, right? But heart is an observable feature, no, right? But we know that character is associated with it. And even human being is also animal only. We know what are the characteristics of human being and how he look like or how she look like, how a buffalo look like, how a cat look like, how a dog look like. So these organisms comes under the group animals. And when we hear the term plants, so what characteristics that get associated with us when we think about plants in this. Plants and the characters in mind birth. They will be having leaves. Some will produce fruits. Some may produce seeds. Okay, some are flowering plants and some are non-flowering. Some grow as big in the form of trees, and some will be at the ground level only. They are called as herbs, and some will be of intermediate height. They are called as shrubs. Like that, various characteristics we get associated about those organisms in that group. So only when you think of a dog, only the picture of the image of the dog comes to your mind, but not the organism. Right? Similarly, then, if you think of Alsatians, okay, you know which picture comes to your mind, right? We know that what picture comes to our mind when you think of Alsatian. Then a dog image only comes to mind. Why? Because Alsatian is nothing but a dog which is named as a German Shepherd. You can see in the diagram. Yes, sorry, that is the image of the Alsatian. Okay, German Shepherd is only called as Alsatian. Okay, because of the border. Okay, where it is present. Okay, so it's always based on this origin. It is named as Alsatian. Similarly, when you think of the wheat plant, you should previously know how exactly that plant looked like. The wheat plant only comes to your mind. Okay. The image of wheat plant comes to your mind. That comes to your mind, but not other. Why it happens? Means, so when you know about that particular organism or the plant, when you think about the plant or the organism, means you get associated with certain characteristics of that particular organism. So only the picture or the characters of the particular organism only comes to your mind, but not the other organism. Now, all of you just imagine or just think of a donkey. Which characteristics, features of the donkey comes to your mind? Okay, when you think of a donkey, then the pig comes to your mind. Can you accept a pig as a donkey? No, right? You know how the donkey runs or walks. How erect the ears will be, and how it barks or how it makes sound. All that comes to your mind, right? When you think about donkey. Why? Because when you hear the word donkey, you get associated with certain characteristics of a particular organism, right? So donkeys is a one group, monkeys is a one group, right? Humans are another group. Like that, under the animal, many groups can also be formed in order to make our studies easier. So here, when you think about a wheat plant, only wheat plant comes to your mind, but not any other plants. So here, the wheat plants, here dogs, Alsatians, the cats. So what these are? The convenient groups of the organisms. Similarly, let us take one more example also. So let us take one more example. Mammals. So mammals is another group of organisms. When you think about the mammals, which characters are associated with the mammals? You know that one. You know that. So mammals, only the mammals have external ear and body aids. So when you think about the mammal, you get associated with certain characters of the mammals. Nothing but such characters are presence of external ears. For example, mammal, right? Where the ears are present, right? I do possess external ear in the form of pinna, right? And there will be a presence of hairs over the body, except in certain parts of the body. So, when you hear the word mammals, only the organisms which possess external ears and the body hairs comes to your mind, but not the other organisms. So here, as we have mentioned animals as an example of the group of organisms here. Say for example, this is what the circle which represent the animals, group of organisms which can be called as a comment of the animal group. In these animals, there is a subgroup. What is called as this includes only mammals. Means the animals which are having the external ears and then the body ears belongs to mammals as a subgroup under the animals. In that mammals, so let's take other groups. Some are cats, some are dogs, and some are humans, and the other group, say for example, the cows, the buffalo, like that. See, your dogs is another group that comes under the group called as mammals. So among the mammals, dogs are the subgroup of the mammals, and humans are the subgroup under the mammals, cows are the subgroup under the mammals, cats are the subgroup under the mammals. Right? Like that. Animal is a major group. Under that, many other subgroups can also be found. So here, cats, humans, dogs, cows are the subgroups under the mammals. Mammals are the subgroup under the animals. So what we have to understand here means here all dogs belongs to mammals. And mammals belongs to animals. All mammals belongs to animals. Right? What is the meaning of that one? See, so what that? All dogs, they come under mammals, and all mammals come under the animals. So here, dog is one convenient category. In order to study about that particular organism only. Mammals is another convenient category to study about all the organisms which possess the body hair and external ears. And animals is another category. Right? So like that, according to our convenience, we divide or categorize the organisms into convenient groups. So that is only called as classification. It is only called as classification. If you take the example of plants, say for example, flowering plants called as angiosperms, which produces the seeds with the seed cover of the seed coat. Those are called angiosperms. Next, other plants called as gymnosperms, which produce naked seeds, means without the seed cover of the seed coat. So both belong to the higher category plants only. All of them are plants only. So here the flowering plants are the non-flowering plants. Okay. So they are the certain categories of the groups under the plants. Like this, anything can be grouped, conveniently grouped into categories in order to make our studies easier. How these groups are made is based on observable characters or easily observable characters. So such a process is only called as classification. So now you make a note of these points. Later we will discuss some more aspects also. So hence, whatever the terms we have used, that is dogs, cats, mammals, animals, plants, wheat, rice. So many. So these are the convenient categories we use for our studies. And we know this categorization or the classification is based on the easily observable characters. So what is the scientific term for the categories? Means the scientific term for the categories is taxa. So instead of categories, so in a scientific manner we call it as taxa. And this taxa can indicate the categories at very different levels. Let us understand this statement with the help of examples. See, plants is a taxa. Means plants is a convenient category. And we know that what category means taxa. So a plants is an taxa here. Similarly, wheat means the wheat or the wheat plant itself forms one convenient category. Okay. So wheat is also representing another taxa. So we know that one wheat is an taxa, and all wheats are belongs to a plants only. Plants is another taxa. So wheat is also the wheat is also representing in taxa. Plants is also representing in taxa. So as per the sentence stated here, taxa can indicate the categories at very different levels. So taxa is representing wheat as a separate category, and the same taxa is representing plants in which wheats are included. Means, see for example, so this is what the taxa which includes plants. In the same category, what happens are the taxa? The wheat plants are there, the rice are there, okay, and so many other categories are also there. So wheat is representing one taxa and the plant is representing another taxa in which wheat is also included, rice is also included. That is what the meaning of this statement here. Taxa can indicate categories at a different level. Similarly, take example of animals. Dogs, mammals, animals, so are all taxa only. And we know that one. Okay, dog is an mammal. So dog is a mammal. Why? Because it do possess external ear and as well as the body hairs. Dog is a mammal. And the mammals belongs to mammals are animals. Mammals are animals. So what is that one? Say for example, this is for the taxa which represent the mammals. Sorry, animals. In which a particular group of animals which possess external ear and the body is called as mammals. In such mammals, various type of organisms are there in which dogs are also a particular category, a particular type. So all dogs are mammals and all mammals are animals. So dog is one taxa, mammal is another taxa, animals is another taxa. This taxa is representing the same animal at a different level. Mammal is another taxa which represents the same animal at higher level. Animals is another taxa that represents the same animal at a still more higher level of a higher category. This is how what happens. Taxa can indicate the categories at different levels. Is it clear, guys? So, make note of these points now. So guys, till now whatever we have discussed regarding the classification, okay. So based on the characteristic features, so all living organisms can be classified into convenient different categories. Such a process of classifying the organisms based on the characteristics into different categories of the taxa is only called as taxonomy. So what do you mean by taxonomy? Is a process of classifying the living organisms based on their characters into a different taxa is only called as taxonomy. So we got the new term here, taxonomy. What do you mean by taxonomy? Nothing but is the process of classification of living organisms based on their characteristics into different taxa. So what are the basis of modern taxonomy studies then? How organisms are classified into different taxa? So what are the basis of the modern taxonomic studies means? The answer is nothing but requires or a look for the information such as the external and internal structure of that particular organism. External and as well as the internal structure of that organism. And structure of cell and developmental process of that organism, whether it exhibits a direct development or the indirect development. What are the stages of development of that particular organism? So that is nothing but the development process. Next is ecological information of that organism, how it interacts with the various cues of the environment or various sources which are present in the environment, how it get adapted for that particular environment, what are the modifications it may develop in its body. So all that information comes under ecological information of the organism. So these four becomes the basic essential and as well as the basic need for the taxonomical studies. And so remember, it is a very important for CET and NEET examination. CET as well as NEET examination. Similarly, one more very important aspect of the NEET and CET examination from this classification of the taxonomic class means the processes such as characterization means look out for the various characters of the particular organism. Then based on the characteristics, identifying that particular organism, then nothing but identification. Then based on the identified characteristics, classification of the particular organism into a convenient or different taxa and nomenclature. What do you mean by nomenclature? Is assigning a scientific name or a biological name of that organism based on characterization, identification, classification process. So these four processes are the basics to the taxonomy. So remember the sequential order, that is CICN. First C for characterization, next I for identification, next C for classification, next N for nomenclature. So this is what the sequential or orderly process which are basics to the taxonomy, and this is also most important for the NEET and CET examinations. Okay, so many times these two questions were asked in the NEET examinations as well as CET. So remember. So make a note of these points, and this is enough for today's class. And further, okay, the taxonomy is a newer one for the human beings, and if it is already known means how our ancestors used to classify the organisms, Okay, what do you mean by systematics and taxonomical categories? That we discuss in the next class. Thank you, guys.